And moving to initial thoughts. We're going to breeze through this section to see if you and the fans at home can keep up. And if you guys can tell us, give us some feedback on these future fights right after the fights we just got finished discussing, what your thoughts are, and hear our previews on. First, guys, let's start off with Con Peterson 2. Who was in D.C. for the last fight at the Convention Center?
We all
Who
were.
was in D.C. for the last fight at the Convention Center?
We were.
We saw Con and Peterson go 12 rounds at the Washington Walter E. Convention Center here in Washington, D.C., and we saw what some believe was the upset of all time. What some believe was home cooking, a robbery, but what a lot of D.C. fans felt as though was what we really wanted. We saw a D.C. fighter, a homegrown fighter from the DMV, actually take it to a fighter offshore. Please tell us, guys, what do you see happening with Con Peterson 2?
I'm going to plead the fifth on this one. The reason why is because this fight is very critical. It's very critical. There's a lot of stuff that's going to play into essence with this fight, so I plead the fifth.
I think that Peterson stops him. I won't go into too much detail, trying to keep my thoughts short. I got Peterson stopping him.
I'm not so sure. This fight is no longer in D.C. It's now in Vegas. I think that the Vegas judges, the Vegas officials tend to favor a certain type of fighter. I think that Amir Khan probably edges it. It's going to be a close fight again. I think that he probably edges it on points, but Peterson is going to give him. He's going to give him a hell of a fight, and I think that it's going to go down to the wire.
I think Khan wins on a late round stoppage, unnecessary stoppage, 9 or 10. Because Peterson's no longer in his backyard. Not that I believe that it was home cooking, but because Peterson's not in his backyard, I feel as though he's not going to have the love of the Las Vegas judges like he allegedly had of the DC judges. And I think the ref's going to unnecessarily stop the fight in the late rounds because he's sluggish, because he's tired, an accumulation of punches. But, you know, collectively, all of those things. Let's move on. Let's talk.